The side plank is one of the most commonly used exercises to strengthen the core, especially the external oblique, a key muscle in trunk stability and the prevention of lower back injuries. However, it is common to wonder if the classic version of this exercise is truly the best option for activating the oblique, or if there are variations that optimize its performance and reduce the activation of other muscles like the Tensor Fasciae Latae. In this post, we analyze two variations of the side plank, the classic one with support on the feet and with bent knees. And most importantly, we are going to compare their muscle activation using surface electromyography to discover which of the two versions maximizes oblique activation and minimizes that of the TFL. Remember, surface electromyography is a key tool for evaluating muscle activation and optimizing exercise execution. You can find all the info about endurance below in the description. On social media and in many training programs, it is claimed that the traditional side plank with support on the feet can generate greater activation of the gluteus medius and the TFL, which could reduce the involvement of the external oblique in trunk stabilization. In theory, this happens because by keeping the body aligned and elevated on the feet, the hip muscles, the gluteus medius, and the TFL are forced to work harder to hold the pelvis in a neutral position. But what do the data say? Let's look at the muscle activity in the traditional side plank. According to electromyography records, the levels of muscle activation in the traditional side plank are as follows. Notice, the right external oblique reaches an average of 180 microvolts and the TFL an average of 47 microvolts. The conclusion is that the external oblique works intensely in this version, while the activation of the TFL is moderate. But what happens if we bend the knees? The theory suggests that bending the knees in the side plank reduces the demand on the hip muscles, allowing the external oblique to take on a more dominant role in trunk stabilization. To verify if this occurs in practice, we will analyze muscle activation again using electromyography and examine the results. Notice, the right external oblique averages 140 microvolts, the TFL averages 39 microvolts. In this variant, the activation of the external oblique is less than in the traditional version, while the TFL's activation practically does not change. If we compare both variants, which is the better option? The external oblique is more activated in the traditional side plank. The TFL does not have significant involvement in either variant. If the goal is to maximize the activation of the external oblique, the traditional side plank with feet on the ground is the best option. Although it has been suggested that the variant with bent knees reduces the activation of the hip muscles, the data shows that there is no significant difference in TFL activation between both variants. To ensure that the external oblique works to its maximum and to minimize the effort of the TFL, I will give you some recommendations. Maintain pate, proper body alignment, avoiding the hip from dropping or rotating forward. Activate or try to consciously activate the abdomen, ensuring that the external oblique bears the main load. If you feel that the TFL is activating too much, try adjustments in posture such as modifying the foot position or the angle of inclination. If you want to ensure that your patients get the most out of the side plank, use electromyography to measure muscle activation in real time and choose the best variant for each of your patients. See you in the next post.